In 2025, selling AI is going to be the easiest business to get into, even if you're a complete beginner. The AI industry is growing 10 times faster every single year, and the biggest moneymakers aren't tech experts. They're people just like you. Today, I'm going to reveal the exact 6-step roadmap that myself and others have used to start making money selling AI products and services, and how you can do it all without knowing how to code or having any experience. But before we get into that, if you're new here, my name's Daniel Hart, and I've been building and selling AI solutions to businesses for over a year now. We have a growing Skool community where I teach others to build and sell AI agents, so click the link in the description to join if you're interested. And if you're a business looking to adopt AI into your business, book a call with my team in the description below. All right, that's enough of that. So the first step is where most people go wrong, and it's why they struggle to gain traction. But if you can get this right, it sets you up for massive success later on. When you're first starting out, there's basically two paths that you can take: building custom solutions for every new client, or servicing a specific niche. And don't get me wrong, both paths have their challenges, but they come at different points. Let me give you an example. Agency A does custom solutions for any and everybody they come across. They can attract prospects easier and are able to get some cash flow going quickly. But they can only really handle 1 or 2 projects at a time, so they're forced to keep finding new clients to keep cash flow going. And because they're doing custom projects, each project takes a long time to fulfill, and it's very difficult for them to scale. Now, Agency B decided to niche down. In the beginning, it's a bit more challenging to attract clients, but they solve a specific problem. Once they start getting some traction, cash flow is generated, project fulfillment can get super quick because instead of building a brand new custom solution client to client, they're just taking their plug-and-play solution and tweaking it to the new client. They can now focus on systems, allowing them to scale instead of development, and their business only becomes more and more valuable over time. Now, which would you rather choose? Agency A, which easily attracted clients because they cast a wide net, they can only handle 1 or 2 projects at a time, and they're hard to scale. Or Agency B, where it was challenging to attract clients at first because they're targeting specific people, but they have plug-and-play solutions, and it's much easier to scale. I've done both, and I can tell you that I choose Agency B every time, because you only have one constraint to focus on, which is leads. That's where our next step comes in. But we're not there yet. So how do you actually choose your niche? Start with an industry you know deeply about, or at least a little bit. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, you may have noticed that the process of taking orders over the phone is interfering with taking orders and making the food in person. Start there. If you don't have anywhere that you've worked, then ask your friends or family about somewhere that they might have worked in the past, or are currently working in. Figure out what problems they're facing and brainstorm with them how you can effectively solve that problem. This next step unlocks everything you need to know about your potential clients. Miss it and you'll be guessing. Get it right and you'll have a clear path to results. So now you've selected your niche, but there's multiple problems that you could potentially solve, and how do you know how to pick the right one? You have to gather data, and this is going to require some legwork. At this point, you need to speak directly with businesses in your niche and find the most profitable problems that you have the ability to solve. One of my premium community members has a friend working in her niche, and she was able to go in and shadow for a day and gather data. This is a phenomenal way of doing it because you can use data specific to that business when trying to close them. For example, let's say you shadow the Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, and the potential solution you're thinking of is a voice AI calling agent. The data you should be gathering is how many calls they got, average length of each call, how much time after the call does the receptionist take notes, how much of the total time was spent on the phone, what questions were asked, how many calls were missed, do they make outbound calls, how many calls did they make, how much time was spent making those calls. And take note of what systems they're using, like Slack, Outlook, or Asana. And if you can't shadow, cold call, or go to the businesses directly and speak to them in person. Or if you know somebody working there, buy them a cup of coffee and pick their brain. But gathering specific data is the way you'll get your first client. Maybe you'll get lucky and somebody will take a chance on you, but more often than not, you'll have to do a little bit of work. Now it's time to put your ideas into action. But the secret is starting in a way most people overlook. Do this, and you'll avoid wasting time and resources. Here's where you start building your solution, but only build the MVP, which is the minimum viable product. This isn't the entire solution with all the bells and whistles. It's just the bare minimum features that can show the value of the product. And no, you don't need to know how to code to build it. There's plenty of no-code platforms you can use to build these solutions like Vapi, Agentive, Make.com, VoiceFlow, and Zapier. I have tons of video on my channel showing you how to build with these platforms. And if you don't like my videos, there's a bunch of other YouTubers teaching you how to build these tools as well. The information's out there. You just need to be a little bit creative. And if you need any help, you can join my Skool community. You'll be able to get into contact with myself and others with experience building these solutions and willing to help. You also have the option to just partner with somebody who knows how to build these tools. Once you have your MVP, you can go to the business owner or manager or whatever and do your pitch. But the key is that you're not selling the solution right now. You're offering to solve the problem for free. And I know what you might be thinking, why am I giving it away for free if I'm trying to sell AI? The reality is that you have no experience, no reputation in this industry, no case studies, and no testimonials. Would you pay thousands of dollars to somebody like that? We're trying to do this the right way and take it slowly, not try and make some quick cash. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Your pitch is much more likely to be accepted if they don't have to pay for some solution that they might not think that they need. Your job then is just to show them the data that you gathered. Your employees are spending 20% of their time taking calls and an additional 5% on tasks associated with that call. And then you would ask if it would be valuable to get their employees 25% of their time back. Pair that with the fact that you're offering to do that for free and you already have an MVP that you can demo. You should have no problem getting a business owner to say yes, and all you need is one. The next step is where everything starts to click, but only if you know how to adjust based on what you've learned so far. It's the key to turning good into great. So now you have your first client and they started testing your product. Your job now is to listen to feedback and update over and over and over again. This is where you start to add all the bells and whistles that make your product seamless, efficient, and valuable. And honestly, this can really be the most frustrating step because in my experience, clients will keep asking for nice to have features forever. So you'll have to know the scope of the solution that you're creating and make sure that the updates that you're making stay within that scope. You want to avoid making it too specific to this one business because your goal is basically to resell this to other similar businesses. And if you get too custom, you're back to the problems from step one with agency A. There's a difference between tweaking a solution to fit a customer and their solution and making it a custom solution for them. If you're confused at all about the difference, reach out and I'll try to help. During this time, you're also gathering as much data as possible. So if it's a voice AI solution that takes calls and books appointments, you want to understand how many calls it made/answered, average length of the call, what questions were asked, how many appointments were booked, close rate for those appointments, average deal size, and so on. This will be super valuable in the next step. The next move is where the real momentum begins. It's the moment your hard work starts paying off, but only if you approach it the right way. So now you have a valuable solution, one client using it, and data you've gathered from it. And at this point, you have a choice on how you want to move forward. You can ask your current client to start paying, or you can ask them for a testimonial to continue using the product for free or at a discounted rate. My favorite way is letting them pay a discounted rate for a testimonial. So you would say something like, hey, we've been working together for a couple months and we've seen an additional $10,000 in profit for your business. Starting next month, the price is going to be $2,000 per month. But if you'd be willing to leave a video testimonial, I can discount that rate to $1,000 per month. Something like that. And you can see now why it's important to gather data so that you know what value you're providing to the business and how much you can charge them that would still seem like a great deal. But you still do have the option to keep them free, get a testimonial, and ask for referrals. That strategy works too. This final step is what transforms your side hustle into a thriving business. It's about maximizing your efforts without losing control. At this point, you have a robust solution, solid metrics on the value it provides, social proof in the form of a testimonial, and possibly a referral partner. Now is the time to scale up the operation. Development will become a much smaller percentage of your time, and you're going to focus 80% of your time on marketing and sales. Run ads, cold call, show up in person, cold email, cold DM, ask for referrals, do whatever needs to be done to get businesses in your niche to know who you are and what you can do for them. If you skipped any of the previous steps, scaling becomes much more difficult. If you didn't collect data or get any social proof, they're much less likely to trust you. If you didn't build an MVP and then iterate, you wouldn't have a robust solution that actually solves their problem. And if you didn't pick a niche, well, you wouldn't have gotten here. Every step is important and cannot be overlooked. As you start to gain more clients, you'll have more cash flow to start growing your team. And when hiring, prioritize the parts of the business that you don't like doing or aren't good at. If you suck at sales, hire a salesman. If you don't want to develop, hire a developer. If you don't like communicating with clients, hire a virtual assistant for client success. It's about knowing yourself and giving your business the best chance at succeeding. So now you know exactly how I'd start building AI in 2025. But there's one thing I didn't show you. All this info is actually useless if you don't know how to build an actual solution. If you want a step-by-step guide on how to build a powerful voice agent in 20 minutes, watch this video. Don't miss it. See you there.